lahlela kae? Tsamaya ka laptop. Ka laptop.
Arena, bator kere stela no go opela sofa in the meantime. Hibiri. Na pera ba so crescer nyari no screen. Na chiva ka for ba so crescer marbo na bo YouTube ba for mai ba la YouTube.
Mr. Dimuso.
Arizo silence.
My name is Nampumelelo Lukuleni and I am a lecturer here at Goldfields Stephen College. I have been lecturing here for over 10 years now. I started off lecturing hospitality services, but now fully focusing on food preparations, level 2, 3, and 4. And in my subject, I normally teach students how to become professionals in and creating future generations of chefs. We give them the basic knowledge regarding food preparations, hygiene standards, and safety according to the industry standards. And what I like mostly about the subject is that we get to correct a few generational mistakes that were created at home from the experience that they got from their grandmothers, and we give them new experience which is related with the industry and it is according to the industry standards. What we are doing here, we teach them how to cook professional food that is mostly not in our line of food that we normally eat from generation to generation, and it becomes so exciting when you see them learn new skills, new work, new food, new terminology as well. Today we are gathered here because there is a function hosted by BOM, and our students level 4s are busy preparing the food in the kitchen. We have been learning a lot ever since the BOM people arrived and Chef Association. We are grateful for the opportunity because our students are definitely learning quite a lot from all the chefs that we had an encounter with. We wish that we could get more opportunities such as this, as the students will definitely benefit a lot from them, unlike when we just do our normal practicals with just familiar faces around. They usually learn quite a lot in real life situations, unlike the simulation activities that we create for them. So to BOM and everybody else that comes with the money, they can bring all the functions here to Goldfields because we are definitely one of the best. Thank you.
Ke re leboha. Greetings to the house.
No one tseba.
Like Malay.
No one tseba. Mona ke Malele.
Ke tlo re greetings to the house at large.
PRO.
Greetings to the house at large. My name is Ogushen Swai, the disability officer. representing all disability unit. I'd like to thank this honor and opportunity. I'll be representing to you the fostering a culture of proactive invention and holistic support. The introduction, developing the student in the college before and after, and this should be done looking at the spheres, all spheres in a matter, of students as a being. We need to intensify the following, especially in the triple S, and not limited to the triple S. Pre-entry support, on-course, support, and finally, exit support, resources and staffing, the nature of students recruited at our colleges. Relook at student support services structure so that there is continuous development instead of stagnance. We need to fully resource the triple S to allow all this to be possible. The need to establish shared personal institutional responsibilities for collective success, where each one in the college understands how they can assist the student. Partnerships with institutions of higher learning, private and public, e.g., setters and DOH institutions, and have memorandum of understanding. Academic support, the need for tutors to be hired and support the student even before they go to class, proactive intervention before learning and after learning. Activities that include students with disability, especially the extramurals, because they are mostly excluded in that. Funding from different financial institutions that are currently being used by NSFAS to distribute allowances to students with disability. Partnership with institutions dealing with disabilities and also those dealing with psychosocial issues and industries that can place students. Career expos from the companies. The companies needs to be at the colleges and recruit students, especially end of year, which means they should interact with these students. Stimulation classrooms needs to be resurrected and workshop to be fully capitalized. Students, leaders need trained in how to deal with students. The student leaders can also include in their plan of actions. Lecture developments. The institution of higher learning, companies, setters can also and should help colleges in upskilling lectures because they are clueless on these students. To be up to the date with need of labor market. MOUs with higher institution of learning can assist where the college is lacking. Secondly, it can help with lecture development. Work readiness programs, companies are invited to the colleges to present students and also arrange for students to go to relevant companies so that they cannot be clueless after dealing with the course that they are doing. Setters can also be an assistance in making sure that students are placed so that they have the right direction after doing their course. Standing in front of you is Okuhlenzwai. I thank you.
Thank you very much. That was from Commission number 1. Colleagues, let's make sure that we have our presentations uploaded on the system over there. Now let me call the Commission number 2. Commission number 2 will be doing inclusive institutional culture and student leadership and development. Commission number 2, please come over here. Commission number 2. And while Commission number 2 is preparing themselves, I'm going to request Commission number 4 after Commission number 2. Commission number 4, that is led by Ntate Ngubane. Commission number 2, Vara Seleno. No, I want commission number 2. Commission number 2. Oh my, oh, go ahead, Papa. Eh.
Good morning again. It's okay. Can I have a laptop? I saw a good thing that commission did there was to allow the SRC to present. Maybe they should come and present our commission. It's the ones that were in our commission. Good morning again to everyone that is here. We're a commission that was doing two things. We were doing the institutional inclusiveness into the institutional culture, and the one of student leadership development. On the one first, we started by actually speaking on the inclusiveness, what speaks of inclusiveness. Then we spoke of if we have an institution that should speak of inclusiveness and create a culture. A culture is a sense of living within that institution. So we thought if we have a policy first as a driving force within that institution is the most important thing. We cannot speak and not have policies that are actually binding people to actually providing that inclusiveness within the institution. Then we went on and also spoke about the issue of infrastructure. We cannot have in that we are saying we have an institution that is inclusiveness, but the infrastructure doesn't speak of that. When you speak of infrastructure, we are speaking about if we are saying we are having people who are living with disability, they are then included, they are then welcome within our institution. It means that our infrastructure should speak to the people living with disability. We should have things like ramps. We should have things like, we cannot have upstairs classrooms or else we are having students who are living with disabilities. So we must have the infrastructure that is actually accommodating them to say, you are actually welcome to be at Goldfields TVET College. That's why we put it then the infrastructure, that is one of the key things in terms of inclusiveness. Then we went again, we spoke of HR personnel. That is the most important thing that we thought that in every institution, if we are saying we're inclusiveness, that's when we're breaking in terms of disability again. They want to relate to the one of their own. If a college then saying we are welcoming students who are deaf who can speak, that means that college should have an interpreter as someone that is always there in that college. That is part of inclusiveness. To say that as an institution is also inclusiveness, it means that we must have staff members that are representing in every people that we are having in community. If we are saying we are having disability, people living with disability in Velkom or Lijoli Buddha district, they must also be hired within an institution so that the community could see that as a college, actually, we are inclusive in terms of all people living in a community of Machabeng. That's the one we're speaking about, HR personnel, and also to saying that as the college, it's quite important that we create platforms for those people living with disability so that they could be able to even come here and present themselves their own views. In terms of this Indaba, actually, we could have those students that are living with disability to express actually how they want the college to be and how to operate so that they could be included within the college. Second slide, please. And then we spoke again on gender equality here. Here we are having quite a debate. It was Lokahead where Mr. Olin actually, he won the debate actually here. We spoke about give privilege, 60% privilege to women to ensure that they are given the first preference in terms of registering. Here we're speaking about as an institution, as the TVET sector, our main goal is to solve the community problems that we are facing. So one of those is that most females are actually experiencing domestic violence. The most important thing for them not to be exposed easily to those things was that if we make sure that they are empowered with right skills and then they are more given platforms to come at college to study and all those things, it will empower them so that it could solve maybe 90% of the problems that we have. We came up with that if a college could create a 60% policy to say, the 60% admission policy was that in the 60% policy we are saying 60% of students that are registered within the institution should be females. And then 40% should be males, so that we empower females more. And then these females, we are not just registering them just to put them, just to tick the stats that we are doing what the departments want. We should actually not reduce them to study management assistant and then whatever. They should also study those care skills that are more, actually will make them more independent. Like they will move then, we'll make sure then that they are more, we are producing more artisans of females into those. If we are actually saying they are doing management assistant, they will never reach a position of being in the executive. We are actually looking again in the stats of the leadership of the institutions of higher learning. Out of 50 colleges, you'll find only that you have 6 or 7 females who are actually the principals of institutions. In order to transform again the TVET sector in that, we are saying, let's give those privilege, those preference to females to say they must have that 60-40. And then again, we must look at the courses that they are registered in. We must now say they must also be in electrical engineering, those courses that they were not actually exposed to earlier. And then we also spoke again on the LGBTQI community in terms of, as if we are saying we are creating inclusive culture in terms like, within the institution, is that they will form part of the college. So the college should speak again on them. How do we live with them? And then how do we accommodate them within an institution? We spoke that they shouldn't be discriminated, and then there should be flexibility around the LGBTQI community. There was a debate that we had to say that most of them, they will even want to say, in terms of saying which toilet, which bathroom they want to go to, and then all those things. We should create policies in how we actually accommodate them also. Next slide, please. Then we spoke of the indigenous policy, that when we said the institution of, especially where the TVET colleges are more situated. They are not situated in urban areas. They are situated in rural areas. So we find out that our clients as institutions, they are coming from different backgrounds. We cannot have a student who actually, we are expecting that students to perform 100%, or else that student is hungry. So each and every institution must start then having the policy of indigenous policy to cater for those students who are coming from less privileged families. Like they should not be worried about sanitary towels. They should worry about how they're going to study. They should not worry about food, whereas a college can create something and maybe get sponsors on how we assist those students who are coming from less privileged homes. For examples there, when they speak of sanitary towels should be given to females, and then males should be given a deodorant and all those things. You know how it's shameful for a female not to have a sanitary towel. So if we just provide those basic needs that will make them to be dignified, it will be easy for them to study. So that's why we spoke of that. And then we spoke of catering and welcoming environment to students. Feel free when they visit the mobile clinics and collecting sanitary towels. I know there was a debate where we have in our table there, we said, which one is the good example, which one is the good practice, where students we have these mobiles, whatever, where they come and collect those sanitary towels, or if they go to the offices of an SLO, and which one. And then they said majority of students right now, they feel like when they go and collect it on that thing that is put outside, everyone is looking at them. But if they go to student liaison officer's office, no one sees them because they feel ashamed that student will say, you can't even buy yourself sanitary towels. But if they go in that secret space, it's a bit easy to collect those things. So we're looking at those different things. That's why we said you must create an environment that will be suitable according to your own campus and according to your own institution. You'll find that the awareness of students and then their consciousness, the one in Bloemfontein differs from the one that are found in Welkom or Kwakwa. Others in Bloemfontein, because they live a fancy lifestyle, if you say they should collect sanitary towels outside, they will say, but we saw you at the clubs. But those ones who are living in Kwakwa, because they don't go to the clubs, they'll just collect without even worrying. It differs according to where we are found. So it's just creating an environment that will be easily accommodative to everyone. As much as we are laughing about it, Aubrey, you know very well, right? that others test more, others don't test. It's that type of thing. It's based on geographical thing where we are found. And then you can move to the next slide, please. Okay, because we are given two things. We are given that one of inclusiveness and this one of student leadership and development. This one, I actually did not want to present it so much because it's what Sonti was saying. Me and him, we always fight on this one. I know you are laughing on it. Because I was always saying, we are speaking the student leadership and development. An institution should have an SRC that is elected, of which majority of institutions have. They should be having a faculty committee for each course who report to the SRC, and then they should be recognized everywhere. This one we're speaking about, actually, we should not have they call it in politics a vacuum of leadership. In each and every classroom, we must have a leader there. If we are having a class reps, if they are playing a sport, we should have a sports committee. If they're having a group of tutors, they must have a leader in that tutoring. So in each and every space, so that management may not have strikes in every day, but you know who to call. If now the tutors are saying we are not being paid, you know who to call. If now a certain class is having a problems of PPE, you know who to have to call. So we must avoid having a vacuum in every space that is found within an institution. That's why we're saying we should have those faculty committee for each course to report to the SRC, and they should be recognized. There should be religious committees, clubs that will accommodate all the students. We know that students come from different areas and geographical whatever. You have KZN, you have whatever, who believes in different religions. So we should allow that flexibility to take place, and then we should have leaders of those religions coming and then have a meeting with student support managers so that they could understand what those students' life could be, because it's a way of living within a campus. And then again, there should be leaders in every space. We mentioned this one. And then can I move to the next slide, please? Development of student leaders, and then again, we should provide leadership training for them, because as much as some of them, they find themselves being the leader for the first time, so they don't even know what is SRC, what is required from them. And then they should be provided with engagement platforms. I always fight with SRC on this one. I know there's a difference between where they are come to engage and when they come to sit, and then management just ticks the register and say, no, SRC was present. They should be provided with engagement platforms. They should not just sit here and be the flowers of the day that SRC was presented in the Indaba. What did they say? Nothing. Did they register student views? No, they did not. So the Indaba was all about management, if SRC did not say a word. So engagement platforms should be provided to student leaders as a whole in terms of engaging on issues that are related to student. Funded program of action. SRC should be given budget. Yes, I'm the one who told Sonti that principals must increase budget yesterday. Now I'm guilty as charged. I said the budget increase in terms of student support, it's that one, I must emphasize it. It's most important. Like we should not say the college should not, you know what management likes to say? No, a college to operate, it needs money. It's the same thing. SRC to operate, it needs money again. And then they should be provided with money. For the student support to be effective, student support needs money. For student support to cater for differently able students, to cater for those students who are less performing, students who are whatever, that student support needs money. For SRC, again, I'm not saying money for SRC to wear blazers, to be, I normally say SRC loves to do tourism, to travel to Gauteng and come back. I'm not saying to make programs that will make awareness for campuses. If SRC could start saying, if SRC to start leading programs like students who are failing, what are programs that are at SRC doing? We don't want a SRC that is most concerned about freshers ball and whatever. We want an SRC that will do academic-based programs. That will make sure that when students leave the college, at least they will say, because of this SRC, I was failing. Now they did an academic program and then I passed. That's why I say SRC need a fully funded program. A signed constitution that speaks to the development of student leaders from their academics performance until the end of their studies. When you speak about that one, we are speaking about when they are already in SRC because they came as a top performing students. Is the constitution of SRC actually speak about developing them, making sure that they have personal tutors, they have extra classes that are created mainly for them. So with student development, this one, because our time was very small, we ended up there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have indeed made your point. Quite a number of issues that you have raised this morning will be heard. Let me call the next commission, ladies and gentlemen. That will be the one that is dealing with transformation of the Student Support Services Unit into student-centered culture. That will be number 4. The one that is led by, okay, yes. Are you ready? Wow. Give him a round of applause, please.
Where's the cable? Colleagues, good morning. Colleagues, good morning, colleagues. I am trying to flag, but I don't seem to see cables here. We are transformed as golf fields. I would like to flag my presentation. Can somebody who's technologically advanced come and then assist me? So no, he's coming to help. Colleagues, leadership. My name is Thokozani Ngubane. I am the fire extinguisher of Tshwane North TVET College. While technology is dealing with me, I want to show you that transformation it should be shoved into our throats by hook or by crook. Our group is presenting on transformation of the Student Support Services Unit into a student-centered model. I want to show you something, colleagues, about transformation. Can I address the student leadership first? With this, while he's still flagging, leadership, can you help me sing this song? Yizwa imithanda zoyaba. Thank you very much. Give yourself a round of applause. We're going to talk about transformation, but I'm just trying to show you that if I had said, please keep quiet, let the adults sing, I was going to sing alone. I pray to God every day that when I reach the age of 50, no. When I reach the age of 50, I am no longer a student support services manager by all means. And I have my reasons. Otherwise, we'll end up singing this song at the age of 50 and they'll be singing new songs. This is a piano group. Ladies and gentlemen, let me move to my presentation.
Thank you very much. The group that I sat with, we had a very, very robust discussion, and this is what we came out with. What is transformation? Transformation is defined as marked change in form, nature, or appearance. Now, let's go to the next slide, sir. As we transform the TVET sector, in line with the maturity model, you would be very, very surprised that we're going to speak of the maturity model. But when I leave here, I want one word to be instilled in everyone: intentionality. What is our intention in everything that we do? What do we intend to achieve? Intentionality. Now, in terms of planning, Dr. Zitradile, when he spoke yesterday, he spoke about the PQM. When colleges are planning, do we plan in line with the labor market? What do we intend to do? At the center of everything, I think, in all honesty, students must receive preferential treatment and attention. Our college plans aligned to the market where we want to place students. Are students at the center of all our plans? Do we say, here we've got an influx, we've got a lot of graduates, therefore we do not need this program, let's deal with the issue of the PQM? Do we even consider our students? Because what the maturity model says is that it speaks to institutional planning as an institution when we plan. But do we involve students? Let's go to the next slide, sir. Student support in itself, in its nature. Do we support students from pre-entry at the beginning to exit support at the end? Do we have a detailed induction program that speaks to the students? Is it transformation? I'll tell you what it does. In 2020, when we had the COVID pandemic, the sector transformed. We cannot lose the baton now. The center transformed from us writing tests manually to online, to application online, to registration online. Do we have a career guidance, a detailed induction program? Do we have that says, in as far as transformation is concerned, no, we have moved as Goldfields. We have moved from students writing and sitting and for tests and waiting for results to a more transformed approach. In terms of our orientation to students, are we having a proper orientation or just ticking boxes? Colleagues, when I spoke, I said intentionality, intentionality, intentionality. Do we have a proper induction program? Not the one that says, we sit with you 3 hours and we go home. Do we induct our senior students? What is the intention of the induction? Do we have an orientation program? Do students come here, or it's the induction on orientation for student support services? Let me bring you up to speed. Inductions and orientations are for everyone. Lecturers, student support, so that we start singing from the same hymn book. You have students that are new, who have never met Mr. So-and-so, but if we sit and introduce colleagues to say, this is Mr. So-and-so, responsible for life orientation, responsible for engineering, graphics, and design, students are informed. What is the intention of the induction? Colleagues, I want us to explore an avenue of having a questionnaire for all new students. You see, new students, we register them, basically we put them in a basket, disregard how they feel, if they are happy at the institution, if they were given proper guidance. Have a questionnaire that will say, you know, Goldfields, one thing that I want to take home with me, there's a QR code of the program. Even if I don't have the program, I just scan the QR code. That's the caliber of the questionnaire that we must have for students. To say, no, let's paste these QR codes. Students will always scan and respond. But in essence, it cannot be the responsibility of student support and student support services alone. There's marketing that is involved. You see, when the reason I say there's marketing involved is that we're able to, you see, the challenge we have in this sector is that we operate in isolation. Marketing is there. Once they get students and they bring them here, they focus on visiting schools and whatnot. But in essence, it is our job and as the institution to say, let's work together. Let's know if our students are happy. What is it that we can do better? Because what is our intention about these students? Is it a holistic approach or is it a partial approach? But if it's a holistic approach, we need to know if the students are happy in the institution. If that induction, we can do better to improve. Let's go to the next slide, sir. Tate Tulo, in our last Triple S forum meeting, was very, very vocal about higher health. And one thing about Muteo TVET College is that with Tate Tulo, he'll never mince his words. It doesn't hold his punches. That's one person I always laugh about. We have higher health in our institutions, colleagues. Is higher health, according to us, is it high health part of us or high health is it by the way? Colleagues, leadership, high health is us. We are higher health. They're not going anywhere. They are part of us, we are part of them. They can't exist on the street. They must be at the campus where the students are. And high health services, do students know of the service that they have? We have an induction program, we disregard higher health. High health must be there to tell students, to say, hey, this is high health, this is what we're offering, so that students know. High health is part of us, we are part of higher health. Do we have relationships with local hospitals? Clinics that are around? Or they just exist as the Department of Health? Do we have working relationship with the Department of Social Development? Where we're supposed to be getting services of psychosocial services, support, and also be getting services that we may need. We're able to have an ambulance on call if we need be, or we just have them whenever we need them. I'll continue. Does higher health offer services that are accommodative to both the LGBTQI plus community? Do the students know? When you transform this sector, students must know. Remember, we're doing everything. If colleagues were honest, these students are our employers because we're getting a salary because of these students. It's an error there. It's supposed to be appointment of, it's correct, appointment of peer educators. We leave that burden to higher health to say, no, identify. We should be working hand in hand with higher health to appoint peer educators as ambassadors who are going to be able to advocate for higher health. But over and above that, we cannot appoint people and not train them. When you appoint students to say, be ambassadors for higher health, let's train them. Let's give them uniform. I'll tell you one thing about SRC members. You give SRC members uniform on Friday. On Monday, all of them are all dressed up. That is how much they appreciate the uniform. What's stopping us from training peer educators to work with higher health for the betterment of the students and provide the necessary training. Let's go to the next slide, my lead. Aye, the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room. Academic support. I wish all our principals were here. We must give students academic support, colleagues. It's not a maybe, it's a must. But academic support cannot be the entire custodian of student support services. I beg to differ. We have academic affairs. Let's take it back a little bit. You have students that are academically not doing well, a lecturer who gets 25% plus rate. And there is no accountability as far as that, and the students are dumped as student support. Academic affairs must come in to say, no. Here, the lecturer must take the baton, so that these students are by the person takes responsibility for the failure rate. But students are absent, student support. Students are failing, student support. Everything becomes a student support. When we're transforming, we should be saying student support assist us with identifying peer tutors, but the entire lot of the part of this of academic support is academic affairs. We will differ, colleagues. I know we'll differ with this one. We have been differing with a lot of colleagues. Colleagues, COVID has taught us that we can have online classes. And you know, students, I know that even the college in the rural areas has Wi-Fi. What has stopped us from having online classes in which students will have a lecturer there's a recordings that students can be able to access even when they're at home? I'm one student that is average. I always call myself average because even my academic record will tell you I've got my 50s there and I'm sorted. I'm sorted. I do not want to think about 80. It's out of my league. But I've got my 50s there, I'm sorted. But I'm saying, colleagues, in the midst of all that, there are students that can actually go home, go through the lesson, the online lesson, and say, no, here I may have missed Mr. So-and-so, and then revise. So we have dropped the ball, colleagues. So in terms of transformation, let's go back and have online classes for students. If push comes to shove, my father would always say, have weekend classes for students. As I was driving here, you know, Goldfields, while I was navigating here, coming here, the only way I knew that there's a college nearby was students carrying bags coming this side. Then I knew the college is somewhere this side, man. Then I started driving, looking at the students flocking this side. It means students can walk here and have weekend classes. Sonti spoke about money yesterday. Let us invest in giving students support. Investing would mean that we have a mentoring and peer tutoring program where we say students that are assisting, we pay them certain amount, whether it's 2,000 rand, 1,000 rands, depending on what the college council has approved. I'll tell you what it does. It changes the narrative. If I went to a university and we were getting paid that amount of money, I would have woken up and got myself an 8. But it was like, you pass, you don't pass, it's the same. It's motivation. That motivation would automatically mean two things. Students, we will increase the pass rate in the college. It will increase the certification rate. And the last one, even the throughput rate. Because students would have said, if I can get my hands on the 2,500 rands, these students that we have now are unlike us. We had parents at home. These ones are parents on their own. Some are using the very same NSFAS money to fund at home. Colleagues, we need to say, let's reward academic excellence. Peer educators. Peer tutors, sorry. I have a policy on mentoring and that I use to appoint peer tutors, and we issue out adverts. And that thing has worked drastically in improving especially us with students that have got with special needs. I've got students that are blind. We have scribers that are assisting. So colleagues, it not necessarily mean that it's referred to students with special needs, but all our students need to be given all support. That's the holistic approach. Let's go to the next slide, my lead. Inclusive sports, arts, and culture. I want us to be honest, colleagues. This exercise of arts and culture is a by the way. We've got 5 colleges in the country. I'll start with special needs in education, or SNE. We've got 5 colleges. We've got Capricorn, we've got SWGC, we've got TNC, we've got Muteo, and I think we've got False Bay as well in the Western Cape. We've even taken a decision to have our own sports for the visually impaired students. Not that we disregard other colleges, but we have what we call goal ball. Colleagues, goal ball is not a sport for visually impaired or blind students. It can be played by anyone. But we went to KZN last year with students, and we had to play sports with people who are from the Department of Social Development and other departments, because no one is taking care of that, and we claim to be in an inclusive department, in an inclusive environment. We don't include students with special needs. And where it hurts me the most, when we have athletics and they say to us, bring disabled students, bring SNE students so that we can increase our medals. Colleagues, are we really doing justice to our own students that we must get them to play to athletics? All the way drive, all the way to Pretoria, only to increase medals. We are ticking boxes. Colleagues, students engaged in extracurricular activities should not be for COSAXA reasons and reasons only. It should be continuous. Do you know what that thing does? If you keep students busy, they don't have time to caucus, to close gates. They don't have time to go and start saying, you'll have few that are in these drugs, but students are busy. I know myself, I could not even continue with my Viva, Comrade Viva, because I was forever in sports. But we need to explore. You know, COSAXA was COSA way back in 2012. But can I tell you that we are still singing the same song. Nothing has changed. In Eastern Cape, there's a team there. In Free State, there are teams here. In Gauteng, there are teams. But we always have COSAXA events without scouts for students. Where is the transformation in that thing? They collapse the structure, but there are no scouts even now. You'll hear a student, oh, I'm from Muteo, I'm going to play in the Olympics. But I'm saying to you, we are busy putting money there. Unfortunately, the president is not here. I was going to tell him. There are students that should be doing indigenous games. I don't know what they call it. They call it the ghetto. We can even have Scrabbles. But next week, our students are going to Northern Cape for the language festival. And can I be honest with you? That was a by the way. We did not do due diligence to our students. Because someone decided out of the blue that we're going to take language festival and give it to COSAXA, and it's not done correctly. Colleagues, we need to have a SASO approach. SASO is the South African, I think, the one that we used to use at universities. The SASO approach says, let's have sports, for instance, where we play in our own leagues like Gauteng is doing. And then we take the number ones and number twos. They go to championships where they play for national. So Mpumalanga has got 3 colleges, they bring the number 1, number 2. Gauteng has got 8 colleges, they bring number 1, number 2. The same way with this choral, as opposed to doing it for COSAXA. And after COSAXA, it dies a natural death. We'll see next day when we must pay hundreds and hundreds of thousand rands. We're not doing justice to our students. Transformation must start there to say, This thing will eliminate a lot of these things of students involved in drugs and a case of GPVs and suicide cases, where you hear a college has got a number of, I'm thinking, how do you have so much? But also, over and above that, we're not going to operate, if you're going to give students support 2 million rands and say, you are going to run your processes, increase the budget for us. Let's go to the next one. I'm closing. Let's go to the strategies, colleagues. We need to have a policy on class representatives to close. You see, as much as the SRC is the structure recognized by the CET Act, but in terms of the class representatives, a college that has got class reps for all campuses, this is what we are doing. You are saying, you are the mouthpiece of the students in class. You will come and convene with the campus SRC to say, okay, what are the issues? That's why when students don't have textbooks, they disregard the SRC, because the SRC is how many people? In my college, we've got 5 per campus. So there's 5 there. They disregard the 5, they close the gates. So, but if you have got class reps, that will say, no, let's convene an agent meeting. Let's have a policy for class reps. But over and above that, let's train the class reps on the roles and the responsibilities, because if you don't train them, they overlap on SRC responsibilities. In terms of the induction, we need to have a detailed induction. Not this by the way we're doing. Have a detailed induction that will speak to students and have the department gave us one policy, and I must applaud them, the one on governance. Have common policies, colleagues. You know, I'll tell you, if you can sit down with the SRC and ask them now, what is your college giving you in terms of benefits? They will tell you they are giving us uniform. Others will tell you they are giving us name tags. Others will tell you to even get overnight allowances. We need uniformity. What is our intention about the SRC? Is it about the eligibility only? Have uniformity. You have an SRC from Muteo getting a budget of 5 million as SRC, and you have me as Triple S, I have 5 million as the entire unit, including SRC. Something is amiss, colleagues. Uniformity. We need to start preparing leaders as colleges. That those that are not in the SRC, who are class reps, those that are in sports committees, so that we create an environment of leaders. We want people wanting to emerge and be leaders because now they want to render the college ungovernable. Let's go to exit support. Let's go to the next slide, sir. Does the college have a relationship with industry, colleagues? Colleagues, we must give credit where it's due. Our colleges are situated where there are clinics, where there are municipalities, where there are hospitals. Do we have a MOUs with those to ensure that we placed our students for WBE? We placed our students for WIL, work integrated learning. Because it becomes a nightmare when students must be placed. So we need to create that environment. Do we have a policy on the placement of students? Standardization, intentionality. What do we intend to do? Or we have numbers that we're projecting to place in 2024, but do we have a policy to that effect? Do we have a unit responsible for partnerships and linkages? Where these MOUs are signed. Someone must be responsible for partnerships to say, no, we've gone to Mersita, we've gone to Sasita, we've gone to all these cities, we've found partnerships. Do we have a unit responsible for that? That will say, not after we've got placement officers, but here are the MOUs, go and place students. We have a challenge, graduate and tracking, these alumni that Sonti spoke about. Maybe as they review the CET, when as they go through the review of the CET Act, maybe we'll have matching orders as to why we do it. Because other colleges are doing it, but it's a by the way for others. Lastly, are students placed in the right field? We have students that are supposed to be placed at a financial institution, but are placed there doing management assistant responsibilities. And when they must come to for their applying for their diplomas, they have not satisfied the requirements. Colleagues, intentionality. What is our intention about these students? If we are doing this thing, the maturity model has taught us one thing, that let's have an intention. If we are going to have an academic support program, it must be informed by what students are not passing, what is the intention, so that moving forward, everything that we do for students has an intention. Let's go to the last slide, sir. There's a college called Kharsibande TVET College. They use a motto for students, and it reads, nothing for students without students. And nothing for students without student support services. I would want us to move away from a mentality that says we will report to them. Because when a student is absent from class, student support. When a student is raped, student support. When a student is failing, student support. But in most cases, things that are happening for students would happen, and student support will be called at the tail end. So I'm saying nothing for students without student support. But over and above that, the most important one, there should be nothing for students without students. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tawazan Guban. My presentation ends here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ngubani. You did justice to this item. Somehow I have a feeling that some of the presentations that will follow after this one, they will still be adding to what you have already said. It shows that you are actually into this. You spoke about student-centered culture, and thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, let me call the commission that dealt with embracing culture of innovation, entrepreneurship. Then we'll be coming to the last one. Thank you very much. Mr. Makwa is coming. I give each 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, or 5. Okay.
5 minutes. Iwana Kharuza. Thank you, Program Director. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have been tasked with in our session, we had a very vibrant and very interesting session. Our team comprised of the TPR from Flavius Mareka, and we had a variety also of, lovely students from the SRC. Next slide, please. The world is changing at a fast and rapid change, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of you would agree that the advent of COVID-19 brought quite a very interesting element in our lives. And this subjected us to, to changing, and I believe as TVET colleges, we quite missed an opportunity there. So in our session, we looked at the National Development Program Vision 2030, where it talks about critical skills and employment opportunities for our youth. We also looked at what the NDP says in terms of the launch, of 15 artisan development occupational programs. I believe in Goldfields TVET College, we are leading in this front with the introduction of, the section where we have the hair care, and we have young ladies and gentlemen there who are doing wonders because they are trained in working with their hands and These are people who live as artisans in the future, and they will start employment. We looked at also, fostering learning through theory in the classroom, practical work in the workshop, and workplace experiential learning in the industry. We said in this aspect, we want to see our engineers, showcasing what they are able to do in class, taking what they are doing from the workshops and doing it practically. We also looked at interventions that are made to ensure that our students articulate to higher learning institutions. We also looked at the world of work, self-employment, and our students becoming future employers. Next slide, please. We also looked at, fostering a culture of entrepreneurship at the TVET colleges by developing a mindset where students are taught that they can become self-employed or become employers. We also proposed that we want to see a situation where entrepreneurship becomes a fundamental subject across all programs offerings. You'll have your engineering students who focus on the technicality of what they are taught in class, yet they also need to have an entrepreneurial aspect to understand how a business operates. We also looked at, exposing our students to entrepreneurial summits, business seminars, exhibitions, and I believe with what Alan Gray has come up with, that is a very beautiful model that encourages our students, to participate into competitions where they can come with ideas and be able to implement these ideas. We also looked at, computer-related subject becoming an add-on in the product qualification mix of the subjects that we are offering at the college. And we also looked at, promoting market days, and these should be included into the college calendar to take place annually, to be able to encourage our students to participate in entrepreneurship. Next slide, please. We also looked into, different funding, options where we have establishment of an entrepreneurial hub for practical exposure on all campuses. And this could be, supported by a college budget or a CETA funding. We also looked into linking partnerships with government SMMEs to assist with startup for small businesses, the Small Enterprise Development Agency, our National Youth Development Agency, our Center for Entrepreneurship and Rapid Incubation, and Destia. We also looked at, finding sponsorships for business startups for our students, seeking vouchers or grants through the NDA, and mentoring from business for our students. And there was an example that was made with regards to, the banks that were here. We need to seek partnerships with these banks so that they adopt our students and our students understanding how the funding process or model works so that they run their own businesses. Next slide, please. We also looked, ladies and gentlemen, into the difference between technology and innovation, where we gave a definition of saying, if you look at it, technology and innovation, they work hand in glove. So technology is the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes, especially in the development of tools, machines, and systems. Most of us are having cell phones today. We enjoy, sending money to people without even going to the bank and queuing, as opposed to what we are doing in the past. You can just get into a bank app and transfer money and send this money to a person. That is how technology operates. We also look into saying, how can we optimize and utilize the LSM system for, our lecturers to be able to lecture students even when they are in remote places, where a lesson could be recorded and students could download this lesson and utilize it. And this works hand in love with what innovation talks about, because it talks about the act or process of introducing new ideas, methods, or products, especially in business or technology. You'll agree with me that most of us never anticipated that we'll experience COVID-19. It put a stop to everything, and we had to embrace the change that was coming. And this is what TVET colleges are supposed to do as well. Change is painful, but we need to embrace it and accept it and apply it for the future and prosperity of our students. Next slide, please. We also looked into exposure into the electric technology to be included in the program offerings, such as your 4IR related programs, cybersecurity, robotics and coding, Internet of Things, renewable energy or solar PV, and drone technology. I believe most of you, when you first came in here, you saw what drone technology could do, as it was projecting our different campuses as we have them in the college. I believe last week I saw an article that was talking about 15 jobs that we are going to lose in the next coming 10 years. This farmer was using technology to send a drone to his field, to check as to the crops that need to be planted for a particular season. So we'll have a situation where tomorrow you might have robots, coding things for us, and this could lead to a lot of jobs that we are going to lose. If you look at the technology that is coming from America, we still have petrol attendants today in South Africa, but I'm wondering, in the next coming 10 years, will we still have petrol attendants, or you will have to man, the petrol tank for yourself, fill petrol for yourself? There's a store that I also saw I think it was in Chicago, where you get into the store with a trolley, and then you take off everything that you want to purchase. And as you come out, it calculates everything. It even takes off the money, from your banking app. These are the technologies that are there and that we have to embrace. Gone are the days where we have to rely on traditional methods, to do things. And as a college, we need to, embrace this change and really, really apply it to our students. Next slide, please. We also looked at, nurturing a great business idea or innovation, for our students, where we said we need a college intervention, we need to source additional expertise on the idea. We also need to assist our students when they have developed these ideas. We assist them with protecting their intellectual property through CIPC or trademarking it or patenting it. We also need to explore funding options through banks, provide emotional support, and ensure that our students maintain stamina through the numerous hurdles in implementing this idea of innovation. Because, a lot of people will tell you that entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey, and there are a lot of hurdles that you have to overcome. But you need support from all the stakeholders to see through that your business idea becomes fruitful in the long term. We also look at encouraging masterclasses through boot camps for confidence building for our students. Next slide, please. All right. This concludes my presentation. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Magwa, for such an eye-opening presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, let me call the last commission to come and present on building a productive college environment, looking at academic support, attendance, extramural activities. Thank you very much, ladies. Let's give her a round of applause.
What time is it? Still morning. Good morning. My name is Karabo Tswayela. I'm from Commission 3, and I'll be presenting the topic Building a Productive College Environment, focusing on academic support, attendance, and extramural activities. What is this academic support? Academic support refers to resources and services provided to students to help them succeed in their studies and achieve their academic role. Academic support is not only for academic branch. We as SSS, we need to support academic branch by helping with academic support. How do we do that? We have strategies in SSS that we use or that we employ to make sure that we support. Remember, we are not lecturers. We are there to support. The first strategy that we have is career guidance. It's part of academic support because it's important that when students first come to the college, we must ensure that they understand the courses that they are enrolling in. Most of the time in TVET sector, students don't even understand or know the difference between NCV and NATED when they first come. So it is our responsibility as SSS to ensure that we explain these things to students in a process of us supporting the academic branch. Secondly, the strategy that we can also use is peer tutoring and buddy systems. We also know that peer tutoring is about, students helping one another. Those that are excelling in their studies, they must be able to assist their peers. Previous question papers are also a way of us for showing our support. Maybe after each and every exam, some colleges are doing it, they collect those papers. Remember, in our mind, we understand that they have passed, so they're not going to need these question papers. So what we do, we collect them, we store them, and distribute it later in the next academic term or period. Another way is learning management system. Different colleges are using different learning management systems. Some are still using Moodles, Black Ubuntu, Profiler, Teams, Coltech, Student Portal. What we as SSS can do, we can train our peer tutors, our class reps with this LMS so that they can assist other students. Disability support, remember as student support, whatever we do, we must be inclusive of our disabled students. So when we're having extra classes or peer tutoring classes for our disabled students, we also incorporate our interpreters so that they can support them. What we can also do as a strategy is performance awards. We can support our academic branch by organizing or working together with them to organize those students that have performed well, the handing of certificates or whatever method that we use to motivate students to actually award those ones that performed well. Referrals as well. Referrals in this regard, we're talking about referrals from lecturers with those students that are struggling academically so that the peer tutors can assist them. And it's very important as Triple S also to take care of our repeaters. It means there is a problem there. So with our repeaters, with the help of the career guidance officers and peer tutors, we can be able to help those repeaters to have extra classes with them, peer tutoring classes with them. Now, as Triple S, we cannot keep on working, but we do not show impact of our work. Remember, most of our colleagues, they don't even understand or know what are we all about. They think we are just a unit that is responsible for NSFAS, that is failing students. There is more that we are doing. Therefore, we need to demonstrate impact in those strategies that we have mentioned. Collection and handing out of hard copy previous question papers for students. You know, the impact is that with these previous question papers, the students now, they familiarize themselves with the exam structure. When they get into the exam room, it's not for the first time, they understand now how the papers are set. Soft copies also, we load them on the desktop in the Triple S labs, computer labs, so that it gets accessible. It's not only on hard copies, but also on desktops. The impact is that it also saves paper, it helps us to keep our environment clean. Peer tutoring, I really want to talk more on this peer tutoring. Peer tutoring, we cannot do it in isolation. There must be a link between a lecturer and a peer tutor as well as Triple S. So what normally would happen, before a peer tutor go and meet with the student must first meet with the lecturer. And the lecturer will direct and say, I have a challenge in this area. When you see the students, focus on this. And the student know when the peer tutor knows when she or he goes to meet the student, what is it that, they'll be doing that week. And also in those classes, we need to provide them with survey forms, the students, for that particular lesson that they did, to say, what was the topic about? Did I understand the peer tutor? And all those things. In areas where the student is still having a problem, we send back the survey for more interventions from the peer tutor, from the lecturer this time. And the performance of those students that are attending peer tutors must be monitored gradually. After their first task, we go back to those lecturers and say, how did these students that are attending peer tutors performed? And then we get the marks, and then we can see whether we are making impact or not. We don't just want to see the final results, but when you assess this gradually, there will be more interventions. And extra classes for disabled students that I mentioned. In our college, for example, we have a disability unit from Motheo Tibet College. These extra classes, really, the improvement is evident. Online academic support, the impact there is that, or the advantage is that it's accessible to students anytime, anywhere. So if we use our class reps, our peer tutors, to help students to get used to this learning management system and to make sure that the students are used, because it's a lot of money. The college cannot keep on spending lots and lots of money on these things and we are not using it. So as Triple S, we must also ensure that students are using these learning management systems. Challenges and recommendations. There's lack of reporting from Triple S on their activities, especially on the peer tutoring thing. That is why most of the time our colleagues don't even know what we are about. So the resolution is that there must be a monthly report on the broad management meetings about academic support from the SSS side. And there is no coordination for for student liaison officers, so that they can learn best practices from each college. So we said there must be, maybe just like we're having our SSS manager WhatsApp group, maybe the student liaison officer as well can have their own, so that they can, because we realize that from colleges we are operating differently. Some colleges still need help, some are far. So if we can make sure that we make them meet so that they can learn best practices. And the most important thing, colleagues, lack of awareness for SSS framework. Remember, as SSS, we are guided by SSS framework, but our principals, our deputy principal, they are not aware of this SSS framework. So let's make it aware, let's make them aware of this SSS framework that we as SSS know about, so that they can also know that, okay, there is pre-entry, on-course, and exit support. Everybody, remember, SSS is, student support service is not the responsibility of SSS only. It's the responsibility of everyone in the college. So if they don't know SSS framework or what we are about, then we become very insignificant. Second topic that we looked at is attendance. How is this attendance affecting us as SSS, so that we can intervene? The strategies that we have in place is referrals. Referrals specifically this time for attendance. In some colleges, it starts in class. The lecturer will notice that the student is not attending, refer the matter to the senior lecturer refer the matter to HOD with their interventions in between. And then finally, they take it to SSS. Some colleges, the SLOs, they have access to the attendance register where they are able to analyze the attendance through the Coltech officers. And then after analyzing, they're able to, come up with interventions, call parents, call students to understand what is it that makes you not to attend classes. Other colleges, they're using violation forms. Lecturers, make students sign 3 times. And, for the whole week, 3 times when the student is not attending, then the matter is referred to SSS for more interventions. Lastly, SRC intervention remember, these are their peers. It must also concern them when their peers are not attending. The responsible person there is the academic officer, also working together with SLOs to analyze these attendance registers. The mitigations, I think I've in the previous slides, I've already highlighted a lot of things here. Referrals from senior lecturers, call students and parents for more interventions, but those with personal problems, they are referred for counseling, and this also increases attendance. Attendance registers from Coltech are given to SLOs on a weekly basis to track absenteeism. Students who don't attend get identified, they get called, and also, bulk SMSs are sent to the student as some sort of a warning that we are aware that you are not attending classes. And this, when you are a student and you see that somebody's watching me, then the attendance increases. Violation forms. SSS involve parents if the behavior persists, disciplinary hearing on campus. And this also, the impact is that you will see that the attendance will increase. When coming to SRC collects attendance registers, calls students for intervention. And some colleges, they use SRC PT Cash to assist those students that are struggling with transportation money. Also increases attendance. And the most importantly, 80% attendance policy that we know very well. We need to have to do awareness on this policy. In some colleges, they put it on the notice board, on the classroom. When students are aware that there is that policy, then this can improve attendance. Extramural activities. The strategies that we have what we call extramural activity awareness. So with this one, some colleges, they have, remember we have, the general induction, but there must also be a triple S induction for our students so that, they know about the services and activities that we offer to them. So we proposed that we have this triple S induction. Sports, arts and culture program must be in place. In some colleges, sports, art and culture coordinators, they come up with the year plan. And royalty clubs, SRC, there is a huge gap between you and students, especially when coming to your POA. Remember, it's about students. So in some colleges, they have what we call royalty clubs. This royalty club, it has triple S officials on it, SRC, academic and non-academic societies. They meet once a month. They plan around activities for the campuses. And this also make them influence your POA. Also, if they know what your POA is all about, then they will get involved. They will participate. But if they don't know, it's like you are imposing something to them. But if they were part of it, part of the planning, then the students will get involved. And you see, sports, arts, and culture, students will participate. These are the strategies, what the impact. Extramural activities awareness during induction, students become aware of activities, they join different clubs, and this increases participation. Sports, arts, and culture program from the sports coordinators, students will be prepared and be ready on time for inter-campus, provincial, and eventually national COSASCA competition. Royalty clubs, students get to work together with USRC and influence the SRC portfolio of action. Now they feel that they're also the process owners. The challenges when regard to sports, art and culture, lack of understanding with our seniors, resolution. These programs that we talked about must be shared with campus managers on time or the seniors. The lack of resources is the challenge. We have shortage of staff in Triple S, lack of sports facilities. I'm sorry, I wrote it on resolutions. So maybe if we can get more staff in Triple S facilities, we'll have the Vavavoom campuses. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was the last commission. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm mindful of colleagues that must travel from Welcome to other places around here. We are almost done with the program of the day. Let me call upon Mevutuza to come and give us the resolutions of Indaba and the declaration by all attendees. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
The college principals that are still with us, deputy principals, BOM CEO, Standard Bank management, FNB. Colleagues, allow me to say protocol observed and good afternoon, everyone. Colleagues, we a bit panicking because people still need to travel. What we planned is that we have all the presentations with us here. from today, we're going to establish a task team that will look into all the presentation. We design a template with the resolutions for this Indaba. It can't be that we sit here for 2 days. This was a government time, and at the end of the day, there's nothing to produce. Also, after this Indaba, there must be action. We must have a way forward. We must have activities to work with, because we said we want to transform the TVET sector. So that is what is going to happen. The task team will communicate to each other, whether they work on teams, but they're really going to work on the resolutions. At the end of the day, everyone seated here will get the final product of what we did this past 2 days. What we want to do is we want to give a token of appreciation to the following people. I would like to call them to come in front. Mr. Mahlangu, Goldfields TVET College Principal. Mr. Tsotetsi, Maluti TVET College Principal. Mr. Moshia, Higher Health Rep. Mr. Kokonga, BOM CEO. Can we quickly come to the front? We'll give token of appreciation. Thank you, Program Director.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mevutuza. Ladies and gentlemen, we are left with 2 items. Let me call the principal of Goldfields TVET College, Ndate Mahlangu, to come and officially close this event. Ndate Mahlangu.
Thank you, Program Director. When I was coming up the stage through this stairs, I said I must be careful because I'm live. If I trip and fall, then I'll be all over TikTok for wrong reasons. The Program Director, all our distinguished guests, staff from different campuses and different colleges, let me say, protocol observed. Really, I'm very much happy, more especially the last part where there was reports from commissions. And you could see that you have put a lot of effort. Can we give yourselves a round of applause? So we regard this Indaba as one of the good. One will pave way for other sections of the colleges to start and engage in this manner. We are not so many, hence the impact for us is going to take us to greater heights. Just to make sure that we've got those best performing colleges within the region. So for the past, from yesterday and today, even myself, I've learned quite a number of things. The packaging of the presentation, I also learned something of it. You don't just put something in writing and just talk over it, but they were very good. Can you also give yourself a round of applause? So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure to engage with all of you in this meaningful exchange of ideas and best practices during our student support seminar. Your contributions have enriched our discussions, and I trust that the insights shared will inspire positive actions as we continue enhancing student success. As we conclude, ladies and gentlemen, let us carry forward these key messages. The critical role of accurate student registration and data collection to tailor effective support services. We all know that we are experiencing challenges in terms of registrations. We have moved on to online registrations, but there are still hiccups there and there. So let us keep on trying, ladies and gentlemen. And also ensuring inclusive support for students with disabilities. Yesterday there were presentations showing us how best can we establish those units within our campuses. So let us zoom more and start small. That's what is very important. We all know that we've got infrastructure challenges. We've got financial challenges. But through sponsorships, let us partner with industry, let us partner with businesses and start small. Then we are going somewhere. And also let us promote the inclusive institutional culture that champions diversity. And empower our students' leadership and giving voice to their needs and ideas. There was a presentation yesterday by Mr. Sonti, representing the Department of Higher Education and Training. And his emphasis was more on student leadership. Hence, when I refer to SRC, I don't say we are building or training leaders. Already, by being there, they are leaders. Because they are given responsibility to lead students. So let us give them support. Let us show them the way. And tomorrow we'll be proud of our students. And also it's very important that we must transform our student support services to meet the evolving landscape. TVET sector is changing. The landscape is changing. We are in preparations, if we have not started, in providing or offering occupational programs. Are we prepared? So we start to think, we must think differently and approach things differently. Hence, it's very important that the student support units, they must understand their role. We are not going to run programs like a semester, a trimester, or what. We are going to run programs 12 months in a year. Are our students prepared? Will they face that challenge which is coming to them? The emphasis will be more on placement. How are we going to support our students while they are placed in industry? How are we going to monitor those students? Will our students have proper documentation to record whatever they are doing during placement? Those are the things which we must look at. It's part of the support. We know at the moment students are not winning in making sure that when they apply for national diplomas, some they've been wrongly placed, some their logbooks are not in a good shape. So for occupational programs, let us make sure that whatever we are doing, we give support. And it must be 120% support for our students. Hence, transformation is very key and it's very important. There was a presenter here talking about the student support framework. Let us understand the context. Let us make sure that our student leadership also understand the content of that student support framework. If you sit in interviews and you listen, when people respond to questions in an interview, sometimes you become embarrassed. As the head of the institution, is this kind of quality we are providing to the society or to the community? Triple S, come in. Let us prepare our students for a field of work. How to draft curriculum vitae, how to prepare themselves for interviews, how to conduct themselves during interviews. It's very important. And also, we had discussions regarding fostering the culture of entrepreneurship and innovation. From this time of the year, we're having graduations left and right, all the colleges. And it pains me that I've got 1,000 students graduating. And out of 1,000, by chance, you may find that you've got 100 who are employed. So how can we infuse programs, entrepreneurship programs, where we'll empower our students, where we give them the basics of how to draft a business plan, how to pitch, how to run your business, how your finances, how do you communicate with your clients, the quality of product you are selling, of the quality of the services you want to sell to the community. So let us come up with ways, colleagues. How do we foster and introduce our students into entrepreneurship programs? You cannot blame students. If we, as colleges, we are failing to attract students to come and visit our entrepreneur centers, it's our responsibility. We must make this thing in a way where students will have interest. Let the approach be different from teaching and learning in a classroom. Let us do it differently when they are in the entrepreneurship center. But if we expect that we are going to do chalk and talk and whatever we are doing in classroom, also we are doing that in entrepreneurship, we are not going to win the battle. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us remain united in our mission to create environments where all students can thrive. Student success is our collective responsibility, and it is through collaborations and innovation that will make a lasting impact. Whatever you do, we are expecting results, and those results must have an impact. As the college, we are providing or we are teaching students what is our end results. Is for them to graduate, or is for them to graduate and get work, or is for them to graduate and get frustrated? And we check whether there is any impact on that. It's a challenge for all of us. So in parting, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to leave you with these final thoughts. Supporting students is not just a responsibility, it's a privilege. Together we can make a profound difference in the lives of our students. Student success remains the heart and soul of our institutional mission. Let us continue to innovate, adapt, and improve to meet the evolving needs of our students. Every student has the potential to succeed with the right support and resources. Last week I had executive meeting with the deputy principals. And I said to them, I feel like we must have a member in management who was born after 2000. And that member will make us to run around. Because when I look at all of us here, we've got less than 10 years and we'll be out of the system. So what I'm saying is that let us infuse the young blood. Let us teach them, let us learn something from them. So colleagues, in closing, let me thank you once again for your commitment, your passion, and your dedication in student support. Let us not get tired. Let us keep this momentum alive and continue making a positive difference in our student lives. With those few words, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
This is not democracy. Since yesterday, everybody was introduced. Program director, Tate Tsebo Mokgano, principals that are here today, even yesterday, the chief executive officer of BOM, representatives from financial institutions, deputy principals from various colleges, representatives from colleges, colleagues that are present here and those graced the occasion yesterday. Good afternoon. I was requested to do a vote of thanks. The challenge with this item, is that I have observed quite a number of meetings, occasions, workshops, you call them. The body language of attendees changes because you are between them and their lunch. And the risk of the revolution is extremely high. So I thought to myself, before I am challenged, the list is long. Let me, not thank everybody on a program since yesterday to today. It's extremely long. So respectfully, I'm going to summarize my presentation. But for me, it's important though that to remind you why this Indaba was held. Effective support strategies in a changing world of a transforming TVET sector. One of the programs that we are offering, Tate O'Neill, is NCV. From planning desk as corporate services, we are dealing with this problem that one of the outcomes is that improved success and efficiency within the TVET colleges. Simply put, percentage of students enrolled at TVET colleges that complete qualifications within 3 years. Our challenge is that only 10% of those students that are enrolled within 3 years. Or conversely, let me say, 90% of students enrolled do not complete qualifications. Dr. Adil. Now, this Indaba was exactly at the center of that problem. How do we change, or how do we implement effective support in the changing TVET sector? Program director, let me do it other way around, to start from bottom up, to thank our sponsors. Without them, this Indaba would not have been a success. BOM, financial institutions, and other colleges that supported us. Higher Health was here as always, the friend of the TVET sector. Thank you, sir. Now, I was laughing at BOM, CEO, to say the Springboks have a bomb squad. Maybe you must be the bomb squad of the TVET sector. We have problems. And we acknowledge you. Thank you so much. I also want to thank the following speakers that presented yesterday. The college principal, Tate Mahlangu, The deputy principal, corporate, deputy principal, registrar. I heard yesterday she was called Register. The title is Registrar. I don't know why organizational development did not say registration services, because we provide the service. A representative from the Office of the Acting Regional Manager, Mr. Sonti from the Department of Higher Education and Training, various organizations that provided message of support, and those that provided, information around best practices. The president of SAPCO, Professor Putsisi, Memu Chinyadi, Dr. Radile, colleagues, you must really, pardon me if I miss others. Representative from Central University of Technology, Savetsa, deputy registrar from Ekurhuleni East College, and colleagues that were in or that were facilitating commissions. Very interesting discussions. Dr. Radia, you are not here. I was initially assigned to deal with Commission 1, I think. No. Commission 5. That was dealing with student-centered culture. My interest was because of a maturity model. Now, the Welcome Campus Manager, Mema Kalab, moved me from that commission. Never like a barren doctor. So he moved me away from that commission. Maybe she had reasons. I was a bit angry, but I did not regret to be in a commission that was dealing with a proactive intervention and holistic support. Powerful, insightful discussions, and in brief, colleagues, I think the Indaba was a resounding success. I really want to thank you, colleagues, for really putting together the presentation and having guts, to come and present before us. I also want to thank the people that made arrangements, organization, for this function to be a success. For the first time at Mahlangu, we were blessed to be graced by Chef South Africa, I think, as part of will for our students in the hospitality department. So I'm sure they will be geared up to participate in the skills competitions, provincially, nationally, and international. That is what it is. It was an opportunity for them, to get somebody from outside, to oversee how they do things. And lastly, Ntatma Thangu, thank you so much for the closing remarks. I liked when you said the sector is changing. Gone, colleagues, is needed programs. In fact, there's a presentation that beyond 2026, Nentate O'Neill, I don't know. How are we going to survive this transformation? But we are ready, with these types of Indabas. Maybe it will sensitize us. Lastly, colleagues, and in closing, I was told by the program director that with lunch arrangements, those that were served in the restaurant, I think, will still go, in the restaurant today, and those that were served in the hall, haibo, mpe ke bua puo ya haeso. Ba tla lata diphomosetso tsa bona mane foyeng. Ka mantswe ao a makgutshwane, ke rata ho leboha. Motsamaiso wa mosebetsi ha ke tsebe hore na from here on ho bua kae. Ke a leboha.
My name is Nompumelelo Lukuleni, and I am a lecturer here at Goldfield Stephen College. I have been lecturing here for over 10 years now. I started off lecturing hospitality services, but now fully focusing on food preparations, level 2, 3, and 4. And in my subject, I normally
Before you leave, colleagues, there's a request that you scan there's a survey on this, and just respond to those questions or on this. Just please scan it and then respond to it. It's a survey. Thank you very much.
My name is Nompumelelo Lukuleni, and I am a lecturer here at Goldfield Stephen College. I have been lecturing here for over 10 years now. I started off lecturing hospitality services, but now fully focusing on food preparations, level 2, 3, and 4. And in my subject, I normally teach students how to become professionals in and creating future generations of chefs. We give them the basic knowledge regarding food preparations, hygiene standards, and safety according to the industry standards. And what I like mostly about this subject is that we get to correct a few generational mistakes that were created at home from the experience that they got from their grandmothers, and we give them new experience which is related with the industry, and it is according to the industry standards. What we are doing here, we teach them how to cook professional food that is mostly not in our line of food that we normally eat from generation to generation, and it becomes so exciting when you see them learn new skills, new work, new food, new terminology as well. Today we are gathered here because there is a function hosted by a BOM, and our students level 4s are busy preparing the food in the kitchen. We have been learning a lot ever since the BOM people arrived in Chef Association. We are grateful for the opportunity because our students are definitely learning quite a lot from all the chefs that we had an encounter with. We wish that we could get more opportunities such as this, as the students will definitely benefit a lot from them, unlike when we just do our normal practicals with just familiar faces around. They usually learn quite a lot in real life situations, unlike the simulation activities that we create for them. So to BOM and everybody else that comes with the money, they can bring all the functions here to Goldfields because we are definitely one of the best. Thank you.
I'm Mrs. Punyezwa Vutuza. I'm the Deputy Principal Registrar at Goldfields TVET College. Registration Services is a unit with 4 sub-units within it. We have registrations, we have TVET Miss, we have partnerships and linkages. Those are the sub-units for the section. Now, what's happening within the sections, the student support services. TVET colleges are having students within the college. So the existence of all staff members at the college is the students. They are the core business for the TVET college. We need to look after our students. We need to take care of them, support them. Hence, we thought as a college to hold the student support services in Indaba. The world is changing. Also, the TVET sector needs to transform within the colleges to talk to what is happening outside the world. Our students need to learn, our students need to be supported within all those changes. Hence, the TVET colleges need to transform. Now we're going to get together with Gauteng and Free State TVET colleges, all 12 of them, in one room. We're talking to each other, we're advising each other, trying to support one another on how can we support our students holistically. We need to support them socially, physically, and emotionally. All sections within the student support services do counseling, they do extracurricular activities, they do academic services. In that way, that's the way to support our students. So now we're empowering ourselves, because if we're not empowered, how are we going to support these students? Hence the student support services in Indaba. Goldfields sat down, we planned the event, we looked also for sponsors for the event. Let me thank First National Bank for sponsoring the event. Let me thank BOM, Battle of Municipalities. They've really outdone themselves in sponsoring the whole event. Let me also thank Standard Bank, Manzi, Lisedi ICT. They've all sponsored and made this event a success. We are together, because if we're not together, there's no success. We need to work together to support our students. We need to work together to develop and improve the performance of our students. If the performance of our students is good, it means changing our TVET colleges, putting our TVET colleges into the map, because we also need to take out the stigma that is put into TVET colleges that says TVET colleges is just for those that are lazy to learn. TVET colleges are for those who want skill, those who really know what they want in life, those who also want to start their own businesses. Here we are as TVET colleges, we're calling upon South Africans. Take TVET colleges seriously. Make sure that you come to TVET colleges. That's where you belong. That's the place to be. As TVET colleges were saying, we are the first choice for you to come. Thank you.